Welcome back. So now we're going to be constructing perpendicular lines through a point not on the line. This is very similar to perpendicular bisector and constructing perpendicular lines through a point on the line. Okay? Our very first step is we have to create a segment, right? Because whenever we're constructing perpendicular lines, we're essentially constructing a perpendicular bisector of a line segment. We need a segment. Right? So what we're going to do, I'm going to work on this second one here. So you can work along with me. And of course, if you make a mistake, you can use one of the other places. All right, so now you're going to place the point of the compass on the point you're given. And you want to open the compass not so wide that it doesn't intersect the line. Like for instance, this is too wide. I'm barely grazing the edge of the line. That's too wide. You also don't want to have it so close together that when you draw an arc, I don't intersect the line at all. All right? So kind of have it in between those two. All right? So I'm going to open it up a little bit wider. I'm just going to kind of check. Does it look like it's going to make it? Yeah, it looks like it's going to make it. Maybe I'll even open it just a teensy bit wider. Okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to draw an arc with the compass. And that arc needs to intersect that line twice. So there's once, and then as it comes around again, there's the second time. You're going to take your compass. You can change the width of the compass, the spread of the compass at this point. I'm probably going to open it up a little wider. All right, so now you're going to place the compass on the point, this point right here. Let's make it in green. That point right there where the arc intersects the line. Right, so you're going to place the compass and you're going to draw an arc. That arc is always going to be on the opposite side of the point. Right? So in this case, the point is above the line. My arcs are going to be below the line. Generally, the point will be above the line. Just in case it was ever below the line, then your arcs would be above the line. Right? So I'm going to make a nice big arc. Make it a little bit bigger just to make sure. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to move the compass and I'm going to move it to this point over here, the other place where the arc intersects the line. I'm not going to change the compass in any way. I'm just going to move it over. And in my case, I'm going to flip it to the other side. All right, and now I'm going to draw an arc from the other point. Oops. And I accidentally move my line. I want to move my compass. The compass. All right, you know what? We're just going to move it away from that. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to move this out of the way. All right, and you see our two arcs intersect. We're now going to draw a line from the point through the point that we're given and through the point where the two arcs intersect. Doesn't want to make it. I'm going to change that line anyway to something not so wide. And let's see if I can move it better. So it just wants to bebop around my 2 points. Anyway, you'll be working with the ruler. There we go. You won't have those issues. So there we go. Now we have perpendicular lines. All right, let's talk about our lines here. All right, so let's make this point. We're just using A and B. Let's use F and Q. Actually, we'll make that red point that's already there, Q. Q. Right? And then we'll make this point here T and S. All right? So now we can say that line TS is perpendicular to line FQ. Because we have a perpendicular line construction. So automatically, when we bisect the line, we're going to end up with perpendicular lines. And remember, all of these are just radii of congruent circles, all right? Or radii of the same circle, right? So, for instance, Let me see if I can make my line really thin. All right, so actually I shouldn't use red. Green, let's use red, different color. So this line here and that line there, those two lines, those are congruent to one another, right? Because those are radii of a circle. So FT, and by the way, those red lines I drew in, that's not part of the construction. That's just some information about our particular diagram here, and I can even take that out. Maybe I will. But for now, I'll leave it in there. FT is congruent to FS, right? Because they're radii of a circle are congruent. Right? So all radii of a circle are congruent. Right? So I can even take that out. So that's really not part of our construction there. All right, and so also we have some more radii, right? So when we moved our compass, right, we drew two more circles. We constructed two more circles, right? So this is the radius of a circle because the compass was at point S, and this is the radius of a circle, right? And so now we know those distances are the same because those are radii of congruent circles, and we know radii of congruent circles are congruent. So let's add one last thing, and that is that FQ is congruent to, sorry, I said FQ, TQ. TQ is congruent to SQ, right? And those are segments. Right? And again, radii of congruent circles are congruent. Right, so that's why this construction works. Right, and that's the end of perpendicular lines. Thanks for watching.